Okay, hey guys. This is the second time I've made this video, so I'm just starting again. I had to take a bit of a prolonged break in the last one, so better to start it again. Okay, so I'm just running through a quick starter application, something simple we're going to build out from scratch. Try and keep it lightweight, simple, and just look at the components that we're going to use and just become familiar with those. Kind of build up a tool set to build out these small applications, um, in a speedy environment, like an interview environment or something like that. So we want to keep everything pretty lightweight, but best practices, you know, where we can. The aim of what I'm doing now is just this little application here. So it's just a list and detail application. So fetch a list from a public API, show the items in a list, and tap one of the items in the list to navigate to a detailed screen. So that's going to lead us to, need a few tools, a small architecture for a small app like that. Probably going to go with MVVM for this. There are other architectures, but and MVVM has its drawbacks, but it's pretty good as a base architecture for small applications, and it can be used for large applications with different patterns bolted on without much of a problem. So the fetching a list from the public API will need an API client, probably utilize URL session, probably the shared instance, and I'll have a look at how that works when we get to it. The list, we're just going to use list, and probably a navigation stack, because we will need to link to another detail screen, and that's this section here where we need to tap on a list item. Okay, let's have a look at what I've got in place already. Okay. What I've got, first of all, I've added this to Git. Um, I have an initial base SwiftUI project. What I've done now is just started introducing the different parts of the application according to MVVM. So I changed the content view to a list view. It's going to be the view that displays our object. It's still got its hello world implementation in place, but this is going to show our list of items, whatever comes back. That's it. And then we've got the view model. Let's have a look at it. So here's the project. Oh, sorry. No, this is the project. So we've got our list view here. And then I created a view model. It's going to be an observable object, so that if there are any changes to the published variable of titles or whatever else we use, the view will subscribe to that publisher and respond to any changes it makes. Initially, we've just added a static array of titles. Possibly we'll just display that first. I've created an initializer with an API client because the view model will own the API client. So here it is. It's a private variable. It's an API client. It's wrapped in this protocol so that it can be mocked for testing at a later date. We won't be covering that here, but just to make sure that that's possible and something that we've built in from the start. Create an initializer on the list view model and inject the API client. I've set a default value, but it is based on the protocol, so we can inject a mock rather than the actual concrete class. We assign the API client with the injected object. We've created a default value here. So for the purpose of this little interview task, we can just ignore the parameters in the initializer for the list view model. So we've started looking at the API client and building that out. We've got a fetch title so we can conform with the protocol. And we will separate out that. I might just bring that down here, separate that out to a class in a while. And then we've just got a fetch title. At the moment, it just returns an array of strings, our titles. Over here in the list view, we are allowing the list view to own this view model entirely, to own it and manage it. So it will live and die with the list view. In order to do that, I've used at state object and the combine, at state object and the combine framework. So similar to at state for raw data types like string, int, all that, state object, it will be used for this list view model. The list view model is a bit more complex, so we intend it to be a bit more complex than just simple data types. So that's where we're at. We don't need to inject anything here, so it's pretty straightforward initializer. Okay, we'll run and build, not on this. I've got two simulators open here. Let's use the Pro. So switch to 17 Pro, run it. It should build, no problem. Okay. And we'll get a hello world because we haven't really done anything yet. So let's maybe start with a simple list implementation here. There's the hello world, a simple list implementation. Like I said, I'm going to be looking at these components as we go because I'm not, I don't do this every day. Usually I like to think about things as I build them. So, okay, so the view model. All right, so let's simulate the behavior of the API. And instead of actually setting an initial value here, let's say define the type in the view model rather than giving it some value. So we just say string titles is an empty array. Yes, it is. Does publish allow me to find that? No, it doesn't. I have to set an initializer. So let's make it an initial array. Oh, I get you. I get you. Okay, so let's ask the view model to fetch titles, just like that. Self titles equals API client, fetch titles indeed. And here in this body, let's vstack, let's say add in an on appear block. Yes, and I'm just going to go view model dot fetch titles. Oh, no. Okay, fetch titles, and that should do that. That should fetch the titles here and assign them to this titles array, which will set this, and the view should respond to it. So a vstack, let's get rid of the vstack and go direct to a list. Okay, so list and content. View models. I'm going to use the identity here. This would mean that the titles need to be identifiable. And that is for the purpose of drilling down later on for detail. So let's use this view model titles and then text title. Let's do that. Although titles, how about we implement a subtitles instead? Let's do that. So I'm going to do this for just to add a bit of complexity to the view. No, not titles. Let's go for subtitles. Subtitles here. It's going to be an array of strings, non-optional. Again, empty like that. Fetching titles. Fetching titles. An API more likely we'll say fetch content. So it'll do this content. And you're going to send back a model, right? I think so. We might be jumping the gun here slightly, but let's create a model. All right, struct, and it's going to be a bar titles. It's a string and bar subtitle as a string. So the struct is going to be called API model. API models. API model is identifiable. Fine. There we go. API model. There we go. Oh, I'm not going to conform just yet. So now we've got a model. Is this okay? And I'm going to return these API models now. Yeah, I get you. Okay, so let's return. Let's just build this out and see how we feel about. Yeah, title, subtitle. So it will be an array, these models. If it's codable, it'll code directly to this response model. Want to call it a response model, Mark? Maybe. API response model. Yeah, okay. Then we do this. Just call it API model. API response. Oh, yeah. Okay. Then I'm going to go back to just calling it API model for now. And API model is this. API model that. So the title, I'm going to say title. All right. Let's say I'm going to let's give it a theme here. Say Star Wars. So I'm going to say that the Mandalorian. Subtitle. Oh, maybe it should be the other way around for that. So Star Wars. Let's do it the other way. So let that be Star Wars. So the title will be the the what's the word? Like the parent genre or category of movie. It's a what is it? Franchise. No, canon, parent. You know what I mean? Let's go with it. It'll come to me later. Okay, Star Wars, The Mandalorian. Let's get another one. Get rid of these guys. Bye bye. And no, it's there. Star Wars. And this is gonna be Andor. Oh, and then let's put in a Star Trek movie, and let's say First Contact. First Contact. Okay, so we get 3 TV show movies back. Oh yes, sorry. I've changed this to fetch content, returns the API model. So we need to change the protocol here to that. That's fine. Now, there we go. So now we're going to have to do something different. So now instead of fetching the titles, we're going to fetch the content. Fetch content. Map to title. Not entirely. So what I'm going to do, yes, map to title turns an array containing the results, mapping the given closure over the sequence. And you're using this syntax here. But I want to map count here. So can I just be a bit simpler here? I'm going to map. All right. I can change models. Let response, let items equals API client fetch content. And now here, I'm going to get the items and I'm going to map them. Okay. Dot title. Dot title like that. And can I do the same? Does that not work? No. Subtitles. There. Now, is that going to work? Items map title and subtitle. Title string. That's fine. What's this syntax called again? What is this syntax called? Use a key path expression to refer to the title property of each element. It's shorthand for items map. That's yes. In fact, I prefer this. I certainly do. Yeah, it's very good though. You know, this is great. It's a key path expression. I'm going to not use the key path syntax, but I'm going to use the explicit syntax instead, or declarative. So that, try that. Excuse me, dot subtitles, like that. Okay, so I think now we've got things in there. Star Trek, the undiscovered frontier. That is going to get it right, country. Okay. It is called that, isn't it? The undiscovered country, wasn't it? Star Trek. The undiscovered country. Yes, 1991. Star Trek 6. Absolutely. Great movie. Okay. Sorry, go back to here. Here we go. Okay, great. Let's go. Get rid of your AI agent. Um, so list view model titles. Yes. Okay, okay, okay. List. All right. Okay, so I think what I want to do is create a small card here. So we'll create a separate view. We'll call it struct card view. Card view. Okay, card view, and it's gonna be a view like that. Let's add in the body like this. Now we're gonna need a couple of things here. So it's going to have a title, movie, card view, whatever, just a card view. So we have a title, which is a string, and we have a subtitle, which is also a string. Go. And then we've got this. So in terms of views, let's use a VStack. Okay, VStack here. Alignment, spacing, and content. Let's do that. Oh, I want alignment, and I want it to be leading. God damn it. Alignment, boom. Dot leading, yes. Content, I'll do that with the, oh my God. I'll do that with the closure. Thank you very much. Like this. Do we need spacing? I think I'll define that here. Let's say 5. Something small for now. Let's see what it is. So the VStack, we've got a text object, and that's going to have the title. It's going to be headline, and subtitle is going to be subheadline. That's fine. I think that's fine. Okay. 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 Now, how do I do this again? Or let's, instead of referring to some of what I've built before, let's just use previews. So you've got a list. Not the titles, guys, not the titles. Gotcha. Let me just have a quick look here. I am going to look back on my booking app. I'm just going to go to my reading list view and have a look what I did here. Open up a second pane on the right so I can see the view model. Thank you. It's the reading list view. I have a list with a for each sections, navigation links. And then in the view model, I have sections, which is a reading list section, which, how is that defined again? An ID, a title. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. So instead of defining these separately and mapping them like this, I'll just put these directly in the view model, right? For now, let's just call these models, items. And they are, oh no, we must define those. API models like that. They're empty. Getting rid of the subtitles. Indeed, this is better. Fetch that. And I think now this is much easier. So we're just going to set it equal like that. Items equals API client fetched, and that's it. So here we get list of view model dot items. Let me have a cool item in, and it's not a text object. It's going to be a card view, title and subtitle, and then we're going to use the item dot title and the item dot subtitle. Okay, initializer init. Let's have a quick look at this. Initializer init ID row content requires that API model conform to hashable. Okay, that is pretty straightforward. It will be codable later. I wonder, can we conform it to codable? Does that inherit hashable? Ooh, ooh. No, it does not. Really? Why not? Hashable. Oh, right. You must be able to hash it to create the ID. Gotcha. Because you're running on self. Unless I use the ID here, but these are not good. So you could get rid of hashable here and create an ID like this, like that. And now you can use that ID, I think. ID, like that. How does that work? That works. Decode. Oh, oh. Can I find import foundation? It's got to be in foundation, isn't it? Yes, it is. Immutable property will not be decoded because it is declared with an initial value. Indeed, it is. I'm going to set it to var. It should have an initial value. There you go. Okay, that's it. Does this work? Yes, I think it should. And do we want to run this or view it? If we view it, we could try and make the view look nicer. What have we got here? What are we at? 27 minutes. We don't care too much about. Let's just keep going and see. Okay, run it on the 17 Pro. Let's do it. Let's see what we get out of the box. Star Wars, The Mandalorian, Star Wars Andor, Star Trek First Contact. Okay. Looks good. I want, I suppose that's the basics. 28 minutes. Will I start a new video or will I keep going? I think I'll keep going. What's the point in breaking these up? Let's keep going. Okay, let's stop, commit, and then break up the videos. Makes it easier to handle. So let's commit what we have. What's this? Failed to send CA event for app launch measurements. Okay, that's fine. Don't worry about that. And I wonder, can you filter those out? For the moment. I thought there was AI handling on these errors. Not at the moment. Anyway, let's get back to that later. Okay, so let's commit these changes. Up you go. The list view, up you go. List view model, and the user data. We should really add a gitIgnore for this data here. let's do that. While we're at it, where is my project? Here. So if I bring up my term, oh, come on, my term 2. Where is it? Really, it's just iTerm, fine. Here we go. And get me into my space. That. Let me see, am I in the right location? I'm not. Go back out. No. Hey. Oh, so my terminal is not showing hidden files. Hey, really? Really? Okay. It is there though. So let's create a new file, and it's a gitIgnore and it's hidden. So gitIgnore. I think so, isn't it? Or is it capital I? No, that's small I, like that. Boom. Really? God, I'm gonna have to find my gitIgnore files. Here we go. Movies. Oh yeah. gitIgnore. Text edit. Sublime. Text edit. Don't usually like open these things with text edit, so possibly won't. Open it with Sublime. And yep, up here. Yeah. So here we go. Open it up. Read me. Controls. That's fine. Okay. So, how do I format this? Is it? Go back here. Just how do I do this? I've asked my friend ChatGPT. Um, uh, how can I add XC user data to my gitIgnore file? All right, it should gitIgnore. It's fine. User specific files, XC user data. Is that it? There it is. Yes, it is. Okay. XC user data. Let's do that. And let's explicit. No. Okay, that's fine. Give me my gitIgnore, please. Kaboom. And save. And then if I go back to here, does it disappear? Not yet, it doesn't. Oh, no, it does not, lads. Why so? Let me copy over my gitIgnore from detail. So if I go to documents, Apple Dev, GitHub, Bookpal, my gitIgnore, grab it and get back to list detail. I'm gonna you know what? I'm gonna paste, replace. There you go. Oh, God damn. Why? Why is that not User interface state. Oh, it's there. Maybe you need to commit it, do you? No, no, you don't. You don't. I don't think so. Bring it out. And yeah, let's commit this. So, sorry, implement list, list view, list UI, simple, simple list UI, view model, static fetch, view model, static fetch from empty from API client, API client from API client. No. Implement simple list UI, view models, view model fetch from static API client. That's it. Commit it. Boom. Now, why is my user interface state? Is my user interface state dot x user state xc user state still showing in source tree. Even though I've added xc user, sorry, x user data. Where's the even though I've added x user data to my gitIgnore. This is a local Git repo repository. In case that's relevant. Hmm. Okay, maybe we can just right click it. Okay, so stop tracking it. Ignore? No. Hmm. No. Bit of messing around here. Let's do it to check ignore to confirm git ignoring it. No. Git commit stop tracking from your repository root, run that. Okay, I will. Where am I? ls. Here we go. That's fine. Git or that did not match any files. You know what? I'm going to Ignore it for now. Uh, okay. Or more specifically. Okay. No problem. My turn. No. Oh, come on. What? Why? The don't like any of that stuff. Why is it God damn it, lads. Okay, I'm just this is kind of taking time that I don't want to spend. So that it's just mayhem. Stop tracking. Thank you. There we go. Thank you. Now commit that. Stop tracking user data. User data. There. Now hopefully we don't get any more of those being added. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to stop at that. It's 41 minutes. I think we spent 10 minutes looking at that. And look, no, that's fine. It's still working. So, okay, see you in the next one. See you in the next one. The next one will probably let's see. Join me in the next one. Bye bye.